Okay, just in case you think the New World Order are just run by men, what we're seeing here is demonic entities, shape-shifting entities. We have lots and lots of videos on YouTube about, the Dracos. We've gone over that subject before, that where they're actually from, and that part of the Giza Pyramid points to the Draco constellation. In the Star Gospel, the sign of the dragon, or Draco, is talking about Satan, but he has minions. He has basically the most common one, that if you actually driven demons out of people, you will see these kind of lizard-like men. Many of, let's say, the ruling higher elite families all around the world, in Africa, in probably China, and basically every continent, they have covenants with these high-ranking demons. Basically, they're some of them may be shape-shifting fallen angels, but they're intelligent entities. And it's said that what this Montauk or whatever project is, it covers a lot of things, but basically the genetics of the human being transforming certain human beings into Nephilim, which are they don't become human anymore. So this is again what the Mark of the Beast is about. And obviously the first thing they have to take down is Christianity, true biblical Christianity. That's why the King James Bible and the faith in Jesus Christ is just outright attacked so much through these demonic and fallen angelic entities, through the governments of this earth, and of course the false religions, but to a lesser effect, it's really the governments that are implementing the Draco religion. If you've noticed the draconian policies that your governments have probably been instituting the past couple of decades, especially since September the 11th. So let's look at some other videos. We might be held up by some adverts and stuff like that, but we'll just have to fill in the time. Or I guess I can pause the video. Okay, this is another one about the end of the Olympic Games in London, and we see a very strange looking creature in the crowd. Fallen angels, of course. See, about all these documentaries, they'll never say that they're fallen angels or demonic entities. They'll never say that. And that in Jesus Christ, has authority over them. They'll never say that in these documentaries. But this is either a guy that's dressed up as a draconian, or it truly is a draconian. He's like decloaked or whatever, and he's just walking out in the final ceremony, which is very strange to even have somebody dress up as that, if you think about it. So as to show you, basically, in the actual ceremony, London ceremony, it was largely a Saturnalii occult, observance in a way, and we see their idols and stuff like that in this video as well, which are called the Anunnaki and stuff like that. I don't know who this is talking in the background. It's probably David Icke or somebody like that. Okay, these are like people that the camera has picked up some kind of entity behind them, traveling very fast. You see that? So again, it's like a very, very genetically enhanced physical entity. It's most probably a demon or fallen angel. It's probably a spiritual entity traveling through that particular space and time continuum. It's very interesting. Some of them are a lot faster than that, but it's actually, obviously, you can almost make out a form there, a human-like form there, running. Very interesting. This is another interesting video. This is linked with the Nazis. This guy is actually saying that It's an actual German. This is a known Nazi in the bodybuilding community in some part of America, Santa Barbara, is saying. And I don't really know what it's about. Just came across the video, and this is the guy here, and he reckons that he's a shapeshifter. He's a shape-shifting reptilian entity. He's not actually a human being, but he has Nazi ties. He's a Nazi, and he's from Germany. We've looked at some of the German hybrids before. Just gone through a brief history about fallen ones in Germany. For about the past few hundred years, there have been a lot of reports of even UFO wars there, going back several hundred years, and basically we all know that Hitler was very much wanting to kill off any human population to bring in his new elite hybrids of his own. And Hitler even said that he was in contact with draconian, or what do you call it, lizard-like, or what would you say, alien type entities. Okay, and they are the fallen angels. They're linked with Satan and Satan's kingdom, and this is the type of genetic things that were going on during Noah's day, as we've discussed before. Okay, so I don't know what's happening with this video, but let's go on to another one.
On the morning of May 14, 1988, Amaury Riviera, a young man from Puerto Rico, photographed a giant disc, followed and circled by two jet interceptors. What makes the sensational pictures even more interesting is Riviera's claim that he had contact with the occupants of this UFO.
Hello, my name is Amaury Rivera. I live in Puerto Rico, and back in 1988, I was working in a nightclub, and there was a musical group there. One of my cousins wanted me to photograph the musical group, and she loaned me a camera with some film. On my way back home, I encountered two small beings, two small strange men, which I didn't think were men from outer space. And they took me somewhere where there were other people besides myself. Other human people, like from Puerto Rico, I guess. From here, another human being showed up. He claimed to be from a distant planet. He was dressed in black. He had a dark skin, but he was not a Negro. He had a long black hair up to the shoulders, verbally, and no telepathic speaking. He showed us various projections, which looked very real, the projections. And he informed us about a whole bunch of things that are even still incredible to me. Then they returned me to...
What did this holographic projection show?
The holographs were mainly... the first one that I can remember was like a short trip through space. We saw where he came from, where he's said to be from. We saw his people. We saw the houses that they use. And the second one was about a meteor or a rock falling to Earth in the near future, which is going to cause a lot of havoc in the world. This would fall. It's going to fall in very near the Caribbean, Puerto Rico, and those other small islands. But it's going to affect the whole world, not just Puerto Rico.
Okay, well, I did have a vision from God back in 2003 about this, so I can't say that that same revelation has been given to me. So basically I was shown that it would fall around the North Pacific, but certainly that all these regions would be affected even before this event. And we see that Christians have been warned about that area around Jamaica, and basically the North Atlantic is going to be affected, and also parts of Europe. I've had dreams about that recently. Many of us have had dreams about Iran uniting with China and going to war, probably with Israel and all that. But we've done previous videos about that. But basically these entities are obviously able to travel through time. If you can get into space, then basically you're into a different time sort of phenomenon. When you actually enter into outer space, it's a different space-time continuum. And so these fallen angels, as we've gone over, are in the second heaven. They've actually been cast out the heaven of heavens, the third heaven, but they're in the second heaven just now. See, a lot of people think that these fallen angels are all in hell. No, most of the fallen angels are actually operating in the second heaven, which is the planets. And this is why the Nephilim have came about, you know, Goliath, the giants, because they've been genetically manipulating humanity, and they do have settlements on other planets. Okay, so this is very possible in what he's saying, but obviously all the time these entities cannot prophesy accurately, and even though they have little glimpses into the future, they can never really they can't have the accurate prophecy that we get through the Holy Spirit and through Jesus Christ. Okay, so I do believe this guy's probably been abducted and by these entities. But again, the video, I've not watched it all, I just started watching it now, but obviously really needs to hear about the good news of Jesus Christ and be given a King James Bible. Now this one's about the comet Ison, and this gentleman is saying it's not really a comet, that it looks more like a huge spacecraft.
That one scientist said some of the jets are not pointed right.
You can't really see that. It's actually, you can't see that properly on this.
Here, guys? Something's just not right. I would say this was some kind of marker or something if it was not for this cloud.
Sure. There's been various videos made about this subject. Comet Ison being a huge
is the real image of what's inside that
spaceship. What is actually there? You can't see it through this. Oh, you can see it better there. It's a three lights. That's better. You can see it now. That is Comet Ison. It doesn't look like a comet.
I don't know.
Some people have speculated that this might be the New Jerusalem, might be Jesus Christ coming back.
Agree with this comet, if indeed it is a comet at all, has three parts, which seem.
But I don't think it's Jesus Christ. I think it's more likely to be the Antichrist or some kind of entity that's going to claim to be God himself.
Abnormalities that let us make more sense of it all.
Okay.
As you can see, Ison is on a highly elliptical orbit.
Now, I've made a video about this before, about the comet that came last year. But this is very, very similar to that we had last year in the video called Heavenly Temples. You see it there. You can watch that video, and it's very much about what this man's speaking of, and about the Dogon tribe, telling you about very advanced knowledge about the stars, which can only really come from these fallen angelic entities, of course, and obviously genetic experiments and lookalikes coming out now, probably through the cult called the Raelians, or see the symbol for the Raelians here, the new Nazism, merged with basically what looks like the six-pointy star, so that'll be like Nazism and Judaism merged together in the last days. So that actually gives the prophecy that that the Antichrist or the false god will build his temple in Jerusalem, and the Raelians already have permission to do that in Israel. So it's very urgent that the Jewish people realise that what's happening, and they turn to their true God, Yahweh, through and understand who Yeshua really is, that he shed his blood as the Lamb of God for the sin of Israel and all mankind who put their faith and trust in him.
And something like a huge mountain, all ablaze, was thrown into the sea. A third of the sea turned into blood, a third of the living creatures in the sea died, and a third of the ships were destroyed. If anyone tells you that this was Fukushima, they are wrong. If anyone tells you that this was the platform, the oil platform, that blew up and burned and caused this terrible issue of oil in the Gulf of Mexico, this terrible catastrophe, no, they're wrong. Neither one of those incidents was the second trumpet, and the way we know that is that, number one, the sea, a third of the entire sea was never turned into blood. We do not know if a third of the sea creatures in the sea have died, because a lot of creatures are, but a lot of that has to do with sonar issues and hydroacoustic frequency blasts by the Navy. There has never been a time in history that a third of all the ships that exist on the Earth today have been destroyed. That's the key. When there comes a time when hail and fire mixed with blood is hurled down on the earth, and all this is burned up, that's going to be burned up in the first trumpet, if after that something like a huge mountain all ablaze is thrown into the sea, and all of this happens, and a third of the ships are also destroyed in the sea, then we know that was the second trumpet.
So you see, this is probably the event that they're really speaking about, and that the governments are preparing for. And I myself had a dream last night about evangelism, and that some of the ministers around here were recognizing my ministry finally, because I've been going out quite a lot this year and doing evangelism. But what I noticed was that they were still wanting people to come to their church, and all the time their church was being destroyed around them. I was shown that basically parts of the brickwork were coming off, just missing people, hitting people, and it ended up that at least half of the church was completely taken away and destroyed. That was the kind of dream that I had last night. So just make sure that you're preaching the gospel, that you're telling your friends and neighbours about Jesus Christ, that you're going out while you can to basically redeem souls, doing the work of an evangelist, and that know that the reward is with Jesus Christ that is coming, and he shall preserve his bride. And I guess what's all around us, like buildings and stuff like that, most of them are going to be destroyed. So thanks a lot for listening, and may the Lord bless you.